Ellen, welcome to our I Am Magazine YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So every month we feature a guest in I Am Magazine, and most of the time we talk about business topics, but this time we wanted to highlight a topic that is really touching a lot of women, and we know that our viewers and readers are a lot of women. So we thought about talking about endometriosis. And it happens that this is a topic that you know quite well. And before we get into the topic, can you please introduce yourself a little bit for our viewers?
I'm Ellen. I'm 36 years old. Together with my husband, I have a production company. We mostly make documentary films. So Thomas, my husband, films a lot of humanitarian stories. And my part in the production company is mostly post-production. So I do a lot of motion design, animation. So I smug up or clean up the final result of our documentaries. I make it a bit more pretty than Thomas would do. And I add some extra infographics or stuff that is needed to have a beautiful final end result. So that's mainly what we do, or what I do. And I am a patient. I have endometriosis, and we made a documentary about my disease, or actually my process for the last 5 years about the disease.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. So can you please explain, because of course we must have viewers who don't know exactly what it is. What is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is something that looks like endometrium. So endometrium is something that is inside your uterus, and endometriosis is tissue that is similar to the endometrium that is found outside the uterus. So perhaps, for example, it's found on your ovaries or on other organs like your bowels. So that is very short what the disease is. In fact, they don't know exactly what it is yet, because there is no known cause, nor there is a cure at this point. So they're still very much researching that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've heard recently. I mean, I am French, and in France there has been quite a campaign about it last year. Many celebrities manifested their support about endometriosis. It touches everyone without any discrimination. I mean, any women. And I think it is really an important topic to talk about, because I guess a lot of people must be silent about it, or not even knowing they suffer from it.
Absolutely, because there are 1 in 10 women around the world who suffer from it, and these are women who know they have endometriosis. So there are a lot more women on this globe who have this disease. Some specialists say it's 1 out of 3, which is gigantic. It's insane. I don't know if there is any other disease out there that has so many patients. So yeah, it's a lot.
It is indeed. And so how did it all started for yourself? I mean, when did you notice that you were suffering?
Well, for me, when I started to think this is not normal is when my periods were getting a lot worse. So every month I was getting sicker. So for example, when I was like 20, I was sick for like 3 days. But when I was 27, I was sick for 5 days. And by sick, I mean just laying in bed and I couldn't do anything. I took a lot of painkillers, had a lot of pain, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go to work. It really affected my life, where I could not do anything. So that was for me something. It rang a bell, and it was like, this is not normal, because it's getting worse over the years. And that's when I started looking for answers, actually.
Because now it's quite a summary of what you have what you have experienced in your teenagehood, I guess, but and adult years also. But like day to day, on a daily basis, or even on a cycle of 28 days, how is it manifested? Like, do you have, because the period I would say is like 7 days. Is it 7 days of suffering and the rest of the month we don't talk about it? Or is it 7 days of suffering during your period, and then you have the 21 other days that also where you also feel something?
Well, in the end, before my operation, so around my 27th birthday and my 33rd, it was every day. I was in pain every day. I was suffering very much during my period, but the days after, I was still in pain, a lot less, but still in pain. So yeah, it was something that was affecting me in the end daily.
And so at that time, you said, so you finally had an operation, but how many years did it last that you, okay, you have pain and you have an operation. How many years did you gaps you have between those things
Uh,
then?
Around 7 years.
7 years,
Yeah,
wow. And during those 7 years, what did your doctors, I guess you went to the doctor, your
I did.
gynecologist.
Yes, I did. I went to several gynecologists. The first one, which I went to when I was like 23, 24, I don't remember exactly. He said to me, I can't see anything on my scans. Your pain is normal. So I thought, okay, everything is fine. It's normal. I just have to live with it. 2 years later, again, another gynecologist, same story. I'm in pain. He says, I can see anything on the regular scans. Your pain is normal. It's just part of your womanhood. Just get on with your life. And that's it. But then I visited another gynecologist, and he said, I think you have endometriosis. But he also said, look it up on the internet and come back to me. And I was like, that's not a really good doctor if he says something like that to me. So I went for a second opinion. And that gynecologist said the same thing. I think you have endometriosis. Well, I'm pretty sure you have endometriosis, but it's on your bowels, and I cannot operate that, because normally we operate, but I don't have the skill to do that. But what we can do is I give you a hormonal pill, and it will get better, but it's a pill you take on, but which you take every day, and you don't have a stop week. And that's what I did, and that was around 27, 28, when he advised me to do that. So I did, and my life was getting a bit better because I didn't have my periods. I still had pain, but it was minimal. But then when I wanted to get pregnant, I had to get off that pill, and then all hell broke loose, basically. And at one point I told him, like, I can't do this anymore. We need to do something. My pain is so intense. And he told me, you should get pregnant. It will solve things. And I said, I can't get pregnant. Sex is so painful. It's impossible for me to get pregnant. I'm in pain. I'm in massive pain every day. I need another solution. And he said, I can give you morphine if you want to. And I'm like, I can't get more. It's too much. I will be an addict in like a week. So that was not a solution for me. So I started looking on the internet for a specialist, and I found one. I found an endometriosis specialist in Leuven in Belgium. and I made an appointment, and that was the beginning of the end. Basically, for me, it was a revelation. They knew what they were doing. They were very comforting. They said, like, don't get pregnant now. We're going to operate you first. We'll do a lot of scans, then I will operate, and your life will get better. And it did. It did. It got a lot better. So my quality of life has been, since the operation, very good, actually.
So the very surprising thing is that if we have one woman, sorry, in 10 or one woman in 3 suffering from it, and on the other side, we have only a very few numbers of specialists for it.
Yeah.
I see there's something I don't understand. How come? How come there is not much more specialists around the endometriosis studies?
Well, to be honest, I don't know, but there are a lot of even gynecologists who don't recognize the disease. So that's the first problem, I guess. Now the second problem is to operate well on endometriosis. You need a specialist team. You don't need one specialist. You need several. You need a bowel specialist. You need I don't know how you say this in English. I'll look it up. Wait. English. Urologist.
Okay.
So they operate with 3 specialists at the same time. And that's, I assume it costs a lot more, and an operation for endometriosis takes a while too. Mine was 7 hours, so it's the cost for a hospital is high. But why there aren't more specialists, I don't know.
Wow, 7 hours.
I have no idea. Yes.
7 hours. It is a long, long time for an operation.
Yes, it's a long time.
It is. And so, what was the most, let's say, hurtful comment or feedback you got from a doctor? Because they don't understand it, they don't, at least they don't recognize it, and they tell you, you have nothing, go home. I mean, what kind of, I mean, this is a summary, but what are the things that you were told during the whole time you were in pain?
They said it was normal, that my pain was normal. And sometimes I was confused, and I had thought to myself, didn't I explain it well enough? Didn't I explain my pain well enough to them so they couldn't understand it? So that was one of the things I was wondering. But I don't think that's the case. I really think they don't really see the problem. And I think that's the biggest problem about this disease, is that doctors don't take you seriously. When a woman says, I'm in very, very much, when I'm in a massive pain during my periods, I think that's the biggest problem. Women don't get heard enough by doctors. It's also a women's disease. I think most gynecologists are men. I don't know if that has something to do with it. No idea, but
I guess one of the most hurtful comments that we women sometimes receive when people don't understand our pain is that it is in your head, it is psychological.
Yes.
You think about it too much. Stop thinking about it.
Yes, true. Yeah.
So
and it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's definitely not.
Indeed. So
Yes.
and so you decided to create a documentary about your story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I read online how many women were suffering from it, and nobody knows this disease. So I think it's only a small effort for me and for Thomas, because he has a big part in it too as a partner, to just like turn the cameras towards ourselves, for like 5 years, because we filmed for 5 years, because it takes a long time, the process. And just talk about it, and share our story, because that's why the title is MyEndo. It's my story, because the disease has a lot of different, and you say that, a lot of different like angles and degrees, and you can suffer very highly from it, but you can suffer less from it. Still, it's suffering. So for us, it's only about awareness. We're sharing our story just to raise awareness, even to men who don't even have a wife yet, or don't have a girlfriend yet. So just so he knows, or knows the word endometriosis or endo, that he has heard from it somewhere. So when his wife is in pain, he can say, maybe you have, or maybe you should see a specialist about this, because I've heard, So that's our main goal, awareness.
Indeed. And so where did you already share that movie? Is it broadcasted?
No, not yet. We're in talks with a broadcaster right now, actually. I'm hoping to have a final decision this week. I think so. I think by the end of this week, we will know. For now, the trailer is out. We have a website where you can find some extra information about it, and you can subscribe to our newsletter there, so you will know as the first one to know where it will be broadcasted. But it will probably be by the end of this year or the beginning of next year, somewhere in
Okay, so
Flanders. Well, we're going to start in Flanders, and we're going internationally, of course, but it all takes a while. It's not this process is not as smooth as you would think.
Indeed. So I propose that we watch the trailer.
Ik ben dat beu van dat moeten zeggen van ik heb pijn. Dat is zo een plaat die blijft hangen, hè? Letterlijk elke dag opnieuw. Jaren aan een stuk.
Met hetgeen wat ik weet over endometriose en als arts, denk ik dat dat echt voor ons vrouwen de vijand is. Elke vrouw voelt haar regels passeren, maar het is niet de bedoeling dat je 3 dagen in je bed steekt.
This is chronic. This is not a one-time thing. It's not going to be fixed. I hate it.
I just want her pain to stop.
Studies genoeg, hè. Weet je wanneer het is niet keer gaat losschieten aan een minister hebben wie hier dochter endometriose heeft, hè?
Wow, wonderful. That's an amazing work.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to see it shared over the online and on TV maybe. It's really hope to have a big outreach for this on this topic. And so eventually you mentioned earlier that you decided to get pregnant, and this is when things got quite serious and you had to go for surgery. And today you have a child.
Yes, I do. We have a 10-month-old daughter.
Indeed.
It happened through. Yeah, you can ask.
No, I mean, I find it very positive, because from what I've heard before about endometriosis, it is very difficult. It is very difficult to have a child.
It is very difficult. We've tried for 4 years, and in the end, we still have to go through IVF. Even with the operation, I still have to go through IVF to get our daughter. It is a very, very hard process for women. It's very painful psychologically and physically, but we were very lucky to, and we adore her so much, and we're over the moon to have her in our lives. So yeah, I can. I can recommend it to everybody.
Indeed. Indeed. And so during the pregnancy, I'm curious to know, was it painful? I had 2 pregnancies. I know there sometimes it is painful, sometimes it is not. But for you, was there a risk always? Like, oh, be careful, don't do that. Sit most of the time, lay on the bed most of the time, or were you quite free to move and to live your pregnancy?
I was quite free to move because I had the 7-hour operation 2 years before I got pregnant. But it wasn't the pink cloud everybody talks about. Far from it. I was sick a lot. I didn't feel well. I had migraines. I couldn't work. Only worked part-time, and my work was from the couch in the living room to the table in the kitchen a few hours, and then I had to stop. I had minimal complication with my endometriosis, so I was very lucky on that part. But it was not pleasant. I cannot say I enjoyed it. So very grateful for my child, but I will not do this again. That's for sure. My body has, or I've suffered enough. Let's put it that way. I just want rest and peace in my body right now, and I'm looking for it, and I'm working towards that, because it's been quite hard the last like 7 years now. So I'm very happy that my body can rest now, and so I can take care of it, and I don't have to go through all of that again.
Yeah, this is how it's not like you asked for it, you didn't ask for it, but we somehow learned that our greatest asset is our health, that we should preserve our body, and we should be happy to have a functioning body.
Yes, yeah, true.
So last questions that I have for you. I know that you live on the Flemish side of Belgium, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So for our viewers and readers who certainly live on that side, where could they get information? Where could they go to know more about endometriosis? I know you mentioned the foundation earlier.
Yes.
Can you give...
The foundation is endohome.be. And then they give a lot of good information. That website is also mentioned on the MyEndo website, by the way. And I put 2 links in it for the English website or foundation in England, and the one in France.
Okay.
Who don't speak Dutch.
Yeah.
so you get the right information.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is the hospital, the university hospital in Leuven. They have a page on their website devoted to endometriosis. They give a bit of information, but you can also contact them with questions.
That's good. Good.
So those are the 2 places I would go to right now at this point.
And last thing would be, what advice can you give to women who are in the process of finding out what they have, what they suffer from, or those women who are maybe waiting for the surgery, or women who want to have a child and still in that maybe 4 years, 5 years, 6 years process where they are struggling? What can you tell them?
The only thing I can tell them is to listen to your own body. Listen, you know your body the best. Don't let any doctor tell you otherwise. If you feel like something is really wrong, stick to that feeling, and please visit a few doctors before they tell you no, because usually you are right. So that's the most important.
Yes, Do not stop looking for solutions.
Yes,
To
do not
listen
stop
to your
looking for
body,
solutions. Mhm.
and certainly to not give up, especially for the
Yes.
ones who hope to have children, and
Yes.
maybe in that process of waiting for the miracle.
Yeah.
It is possible, and that's what I love about your story, because there is hope.
There is hope, yes.
Yeah, there is resiliency,
Mhm.
but also there's leadership, because it's like you didn't take no for an answer. At least you went
Yeah,
for,
absolutely.
yeah, in a
Absolutely.
reasonable way. You went for second opinion, and you found out there's a solution. And I think that when you look for it, you may find it. So
Yes, absolutely. Don't
yeah,
stop looking, please.
yes, that's a
It's for
beautiful
your own
story.
good. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Well, Ellen, thanks a lot for sharing your story. It was very touching, and we feel very grateful at I Am Magazine that you choose us
You're
to share your
welcome.
story, and to share the trailer of your documentary. And I hope it will help a lot of women who may be looking for solution,
I hope so too.
and yeah, we are very happy. So thanks a lot for watching this, for being with us, for watching this interview. I Am Magazine viewers, please let us know in the comments what you thought. If you have more questions for us or for Ellen, please submit the questions in the comments, and we will see you the next time in our Ask the Expert section. Bye bye. Bye, Ellen.
Bye. Bye.